Welcome, loyal listeners, near and far, from Buffalo to Buffalo. The Morningscape podcast returns for another wonderful, beautiful, massive 13-game Tuesday slate here on the Morningscape podcast. Matt Moody, DJ Mitchell, stalling as he looks for the pod intro. You're sitting there looking like an idiot.
Well, this is not any different than normal.
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong. Found it.
I have a lot more respect for the Davis Maddox of the world having to command the Morningscape podcast. StreamYard's not as intuitive as you might think. Things are buried everywhere. Anyway.
Yeah. No, pretty. Yeah. I mean, let's start with. Tom Olson. We have Tim here saying hi. Tom as well. Yeah. I mean, I did think about grabbing my Sabres jersey and putting it on, but I'm waiting until they actually get into the playoffs. I don't think I'm ready to put the cart in front of the horse until it's in front of the horse. You know what I mean? Like, call me burned. 15 years in a row, but I'd like to see. I'm like. They have the magic number is 7, right? 7 more wins, 7 more. I mean, obviously with OT losses, you can diminish that down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the Trevi Fountain may have worked. I need to see the X next to their name. I need to see it. Any thoughts on the Sabres?
I don't know. Things were too bad for too long to make me think that the Trevi Fountain had anything to do with it. I like to think that they waited just long enough so that I could continually lose money at their expense until I gave up. Because I'm like, this team's good. They got good players who are doing good things, and they just lost every night. Then I'm like, you know what? Just stop it. Just stop. And then they win. So I like to think it's all about me.
It is.
But yeah.
I don't do that. I mean, I don't think this is all about me. I mean, there's the Trevi Fountain. That wasn't me.
Yeah, we've got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
This is one of those earlier shows. DJ has to go play hockey. I like to consume food and or not be staring at my fucking monitor for another 12-hour day. But here we are. And yeah, we gotta get through 13 games because the NHL absolutely hates us. I am thankful though. We got a Monday afternoon hockey game, 5-4 Kings win. No Brant Clark stuff, so unfortunately it was a huge failure from a betting DFS standpoint for me. But, it was nice to watch a game in the afternoon in the lead into the slate. So anything you want to say about today before we move on?
I'm just so happy that I got really busy at work. And by the time I looked, it was like just starting because I would have 1000% bet on Brant Clark and lost money. So I got saved from myself by not knowing that was today already. Regardless, yeah, NHL has been unbelievable. Sunday's games, I mean, from start to finish, you turn on the Wild Colorado to watch 2 juggernauts go to overtime and eventually the shootout. Then the Penguins Bruins games, a lot of people are talking about that one too, being just a fantastic showing. The later games, not quite as good, but yeah, the Sabres game, I mean, once in a generation stuff. I mean, like, even if you're not a Sabres fan or a Lightning fan, what a game, what a showcase for the NHL. Wish it was watched by more people, but we should get right into it. There are 2 birthdays tomorrow, Kenny Connors and Matthew Poitras. So unless if Poitras is playing, and I
think Connors didn't play today, so I think
didn't play today.
I don't think he's playing tomorrow either.
It is a tough break for the March 10th birthday boys. Also, Tuukka Rask's birthday, in case you're wondering about a recent. So then, there have been good players that have had March 10th birthdays for you at home, who it's also your birthday. But yeah, 13 games. I really think we'd be doing everyone a disservice because we really want to try to keep this under like an hour.
Yeah, there's just so much green here. It's really hard to. It's really hard to overstate just how up-tempo the league has gotten recently, even when you look at like the goal stuff. This conditional formatting died. I don't know why that happened, but the goal pace. Wait, I'm just stupid. I can't. My eyes are out of focus. The goal pace also only has 4 games that are in the red. Everything else is blue, and there's 13 games. So goals, Corsi, actual or expected goals, everything is turning up for this slate. 13 games. I don't expect ownership to be too out of hand. The one spot to keep an eye out for, I think, is Winnipeg. We'll see what their prices look like. But everything else seems like you'll be relatively safe. So let's just get into the game by game.
Yep, I agree. I mean, yeah, it really is one of the more fun slates of the year. I mean, I feel like I've said that a number of times, but once again, I'm back to the mat here. Like, you can't go wrong with anything, and I really don't even know how chalky Winnipeg will be. I definitely think that will be one of the highest, 3 owned stacks of the night. But we kick things off with one of the stacks that's been the best in the league as of late with LA. Panarin, Kopitar, and Kempe are great. It's not too surprising that that's the case, but Artemi Panarin being one of the best players in the world, given supreme talent in Adrian Kempe, a talent that I just feel like he didn't quite have in New York around him. And Kopitar has emerged as since returning as a real factor on this team at 4,300. It's up, I think, like 500 from last slate, just pulling it up, like 500 from last slate, where he had 4 shots and a goal. He had 3 and an assist. In 20 minutes, he's playing a ton of time. These LA Kings are all in, even though their deadline was super weird and their GM's an absolute donkey. They're all in and they're playing their top guys huge minutes. So should be looked at, but it's a back-to-back against Boston. So what does that make you think?
Brent Clark. That's it. Kempe, Panarin seem fairly priced. I still think Clark is about all I want to talk about here. Quentin Byfield moved on to the top power play in the game over Laferriere. That seems valid. I don't know if it sticks or not, but I don't really see a reason to play a Kings forward on a 13-game slate on a back-to-back. There are some comments. I don't even know what this means. I have not showered today, so
yeah, Matt looks like an absolute schlub. How much weed have you smoked today? Here, the only thing, I was pulling up the next one. Would I consider getting a Sam Carrick name tatted? Did you hear, like, when the Sabres gave him the belt, what his nickname was?
No, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, well, Sabres have a belt that they give out after the game, and the players give it out to somebody, and they gave it to Sam Carrick after the first game, which should have done the second game, I guess. And they're like, "This one's going to Rick," and I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Like, of all the NHL nicknames, I mean, it's bad, but like comparatively to like you can't do Carricky, so they're just like Ricky, Rick. Like, we gotta do something here. I'm not gonna get his name tattooed, even though that was, of course, the best deadline trade.
Get it tattooed just like the Patrick Star name tag. That's SpongeBob erases.
My name's not Rick. Yeah. This is a good idea.
Stoner is telling us Monster Voodoo and Ghost Dog Indica is a good combo. Okay, good to know. I scrolled down.
Sounds really dangerous.
Not health advice. All right, and Tim, I did scroll down on the rainbow. Yeah, I know. There's so many games. I wanted to zoom in, so it blocked for a little bit. But in any case, 20K to first. Let's talk about Boston.
Now I have to lose $333. Yeah, there's nothing really else to add there. It's a tough spot for LA, but good top line maybe considered. Boston on the other side, like, I think we're once again, we have to have the conversation of like Boston 2 ? I continue to not get punished other than like the occasional Arvidsson semi smash, but we are once again here to ask. I can actually didn't Zaka kind of smash last slate? Am I losing my mind? Yeah, hat trick. It was last slate. Yeah. That was a 37.5 bomb. So Boston 2 ?
Yeah, I mean, they remain incredibly cheap. I don't know how many times I got to say, yeah, you can do it. 10.6K, Arvidsson continues to produce underlying as well as actual fantasy results, and Zaka obviously just showed proof of concept. McAvoy, when you just look statistically speaking, pretty much identical stats to Brent Clark over the last 10 games. Similar salaries. I can't really dispute that they look pretty solid here. And then David Pastrnak, I'm not clicking Elias Lindholm, especially if Boston's coming in at ownership, but he's going to play 20 minutes. And Morgan Geeky's price is trending downward, but I haven't really been a Morgan Geeky guy, so I don't really see a need to chase it into this spot. Anything else from you?
No, I'm not that interested in this game in general. It's did
All
the
right.
Rainbow Sheet like it? Did the Rainbow Sheet like it at all? Or
Rainbow Sheet likes every game. Let's see.
yeah, it's
Solid
pretty
5.9.
good.
It is
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
yeah,
6th among the 13 games in expected goals pace. Um,
yeah. I mean,
a little bit better by Corsi pace if you like just raw attempts, but that to me screams, Brant Clark one off and just hope you get a double bonus combo meal type deal. He had 4 blocks today. Like the dude just exists to produce 4 stats for fantasy.
yeah. You want to know?
And so that's
I
where I
sent
want
you
to
the
go.
I sent you the picture, but the Drew Doughty pairing got absolutely caved in, doors blown off. -3, I think, no, they actually got one at 5-on-5, I think, so it ended up being a -2, but they were a -3 when it was 3-3 at one point. Like, I don't know, man. Doughty, Mikey Anderson just don't have it. Tough break for them.
Yeah, I mean, who knew Drew Doughty was washed? I don't know what
Nobody.
that means for Boston though. Like they could, one of the top 2 lines will go out against them. Just hard to tell which one really. So
Yeah,
let's get to
it
San
was
Jose
like
Buffalo.
second line for Columbus. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever Boston wants to do. San Jose. By the way, these lines I have not updated anything since the Saturday show. So if something changed in the last couple of days, it's not reflected in the visuals on screen. Thus is the case when you're working until 6:30 and then need to spin up a DFS slate and
It's
do a pod. So
it's Jeff Skinner revenge narrative, right?
he's where is
He's
he just
golfing.
not on a team?
He's nowhere. He's not in the
Yeah.
team. No one signed him by the
Cool.
deadline, so
Okay.
tough.
Great. Yeah, I don't think offhand anything is different here, but I don't know if you've taken a look yet at the Twitter list. Any thoughts on San Jose and Buffalo in general, especially with the field sort of coming off of that Tampa Buffalo game?
I mean, yeah, it's going to get. I mean, Macklin Celebrini gets ownership every night, and even at 9,500, I think he will again. The Sabres have, I mean, the metrics. It's kind of like, do they lie or not? Because the Sabres keep winning, and the expecteds and the goals above expected for the Sabres versus the goals against above like all of it leads to they're getting lucky, but they win every night. That you're not going to win every single night without some level of luck and some level of teams trailing and not being able to come back. I mean, the Tampa game was one of the wackiest chaotic nonsense games we've seen in a while. All that being said, it's it completely driven through Macklin Celebrini, so there really is nothing on the Sharks I'd even consider outside of what around Celebrini. If you're playing Colin Graff and you're not playing Macklin Celebrini, it's a big enough slate that you could almost conceivably think you're getting away with it, but I just don't see any need. Like if Colin Graff is getting a point or two, Macklin Celebrini is probably getting 30 plus and putting the slate to bed. So I wouldn't get cute with it. I'm either going in on that top line or not at all. I don't really care about the defense, but I could conceive of playing Orlov, especially if he's continuing on that top power play. I just don't really like any of these defensemen. I thought Mahaka Madulin was going to be a player. He kind of seemingly was coming in with an offensive pedigree, but we just don't really see it. He's not getting any power play role. So yeah, Orlov is shooting a bit. He can block shots. I guess that's an option, but I'm again, I think that the thesis here is I'm not getting cute with it, but could you, if you were going to get cute with it, look at the Misa line or nah, you're good?
I mean, I'm good. The Sabres have been good, and that doesn't really stand out to me as like, oh, their third line you can pick on like some other matchups that we've talked about. So on the road, flying across country, like I'm pretty set on not playing any San Jose Sharks. Gaudet drew in on the second line. He's 2,700, gets a secondary power play role, so that might even be better than Misa at 3,100. But keep an eye out for Kurashev news. That's the only thing I can think of. Buffalo, they moved Benson up to the Krebs line, Krebs spot with Tage and Tuck, but TBD whether that holds or not. The PDO cast did a breakdown of this game in gory detail, and they mentioned, it being like a contextual thing and Benson sort of being deployed in the dog game of all games. It makes sense. Still not positive if he's back to 100% given his, stature on the fourth line. So that could be a sign that he's good to go and it's going to be wheels up from here for him, or it could just mean that, Krebs is back there for the next game. In any case, Tage and Tuck have a cheap line mate. You can stack with them if you want, but you don't have to. By any stretch, the D-men remain my primary interest points. Rasmus Dahlin's underlyings have really fallen off lately. Kind of interesting. 8.1 expected fantasy points per game at 6,500. Now he's producing 11.3 actual fantasy points per game. But Samuelson, Byram, Power have all been very good as of late as well. So I think you can go cheap Buffalo D route if you want over Dahlin. And Zucker, McLeod, Quinn, maybe, but I think it's a little pricey at 12K when we just talked about Boston 2 being, 10.6 to really feel like you're being super contrarian or anything. Anything stand out to you here?
I mean, I'm expecting Logan Stanley to be in. It sounded like he was on the broadcast for a while talking, and they just kind of made it an indication that it sounded like he might be a guy that could that should be joining the team. He seemed optimistic that the paperwork would be resolved. I mean, he's fucking 4,200, and he's probably going to play 15 minutes, so not really relevant from a fantasy perspective. But really what that indicates to me is that we might see more of a spread of the minutes between these defensemen. I mean, Zach Metza is probably the most surprising plus 14 in the NHL. I believe he's only on ice for goals for. I'm not sure if he's ever been on the ice for a goal against, based on my short look into the numbers. But he's going to be the odd man out regardless.
He's been on the ice for 2. Yeah.
2 against,
like 400 shots or something.
Yeah. I mean, again, he looks fine in the role he plays. Like, they're not giving him probably the most difficult minutes on purpose. He looks totally like a justifiable option as your sixth guy. But they're going to put Stanley in. Kesselring only played 6 minutes last game. I don't know exactly what that was about, but I just don't know if we're going to continue to see 27 minutes of Power, 26 minutes of Dolly, and 25 is I do think that as they get to a point of being in the playoffs, maybe they lessen the load on these defensemen and spread it out a bit between a pairing that I believe can hold its own water. Maybe not as good as when Zach Metza was out there, but we'll see.
All right. Next game up, Pittsburgh at Carolina. Pittsburgh, their lines went into a bit of a blender this weekend, so let's just double check that because I'm not confident here.
It was Chinakhov on the top line with Raquel and Rust. It was Dewar with Lazat and Achari. I mean, as the line that played a lot of minutes, but that's the line for. My bad. I'm just reading it in order of ice time. Novak, Mantha, Koivunen was, I would say, actually the line 2. And then Kindle, Hayes, and Soderblom played no time at all, but that was line 3. And the power play 1 was Mantha was on it for the most part. Novak got a little bit too, but Mantha, Ross, Chinakhov, Carlson, and Raquel. I think that probably stands. The power play 2, by the way, Soderblom, Novak, Koivunen, Letang, and Kindle. Soderblom did get the net front on the PP2, which we expected. He's minimum salary. I mean, that, the Penguins are a team that offer quite a bit of value. Chinakhov at 4K is, I mean, it's a smash option. I think you could very, very easily play that on its own. Again, but Carolina is the toughest matchup on the slate, so you could also not play it. But he is a very, very gifted offensive talent. He's literally said, trade me. I deserve a top 6 role. And then he gets traded and he's in a top 6 role and he's producing. So he was right. Columbus was wrong. Tough break.
That happens. Chinakhov looks really solid regardless of matchup or anything. If this line holds, that should be one of the best sub 4K plays on the slate. And again, the matchup sucks, but we just saw what Calgary did to Carolina. Shit just happens. And Chinakhov loves to shoot, and therefore, actually, let's get these stats updated because it's the name. He is one of the better per minute guys in the league too. Yep.
It's with an E on DraftKings for I take off the Y.
I'm familiar. Thank you for telling me how to.
You're welcome for helping you.
Monstrosity.
That's my bad. I won't help my friend anymore. That's okay.
You don't think I do this every single day.
No, I don't.
like per minute, he's just as good as Raquel and Rust, and he shoots more, and like he's 2,000 less. So ergo, he's a good play. Also interesting, Mantha, Novak, Koivunen. If Brazeau remains out, which I think I don't remember the timetable on him, but they no longer have that sort of 4-line rolling, like you said, Kindle, Hayes, Soderblom. I would expect that to operate as a 4th line, time on ice wise, in a way that I just didn't before when Soderblom, Mantha, Kindle was so good. So we're getting more minutes for Mantha, Novak, Koivunen, and that line is 9,200. Like that makes sense to me, I think. So I kind of like Pittsburgh here. If they were at home, I'd like them a whole lot more. But for now, it's kind of pick a one-off if you need it. Let's talk about the Carolina side. Any update on Shane Gostisbehere? I expect he remains out.
Didn't really see anything, to be honest. And that was one thing I meant to look up before we started, but it didn't. Honestly, didn't sound that optimistic when they said he'd be out. Like it kind of made it sound bad, but
he did not practice.
Yeah, I'm highly doubting he's in. We'll put him as a very doubtful piece. They are coming off. I mean, again, is Shane Gostisbehere valuable? Well, if we base it on the one game he's missed so far, Matt, do you know who they lost to?
The Calgary Flames.
Now, not only did they lose to the Flames, but they actually got out expected gold, 2.9 to 2.7 per hockey.
Calgary
that is
really good.
Yeah, Calgary looked good. I turned that game on because I'm like, there's no way this is happening, and it just was happening.
I'm like, I'm gonna bet on Morgan Frost without Nazem Kadri, and he's like, he won all the money, and I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. I would like that.
Yeah, you weren't busy actually. You'll take it. Keandre Miller and Sean Walker played the majority of the minutes, but Alex Nikishin got the power play 1 role and scored on it. That was the savior of my Saturday betting card. They're just like, you know what? Power play 1, Alex Nikishin. I have an idea. Let's make him 2,900 instead of 3,200. That ought to do it. So yeah, the role isn't massive. It is an upside play. He's probably going to see 17, 18 minutes tops, unless if they get a lot of power play run. Unfortunately, Evgeny Malkin already attempted murder on Rasmus Dahlin, so I don't know that they're going to need to get somebody else fired up to attempt murder on somebody else, I guess, to get you that chance. But you're really going to need power play to come true. I would say I'm probably considering him with a stack, but maybe, I don't know. I would hesitate you to lock him in. But at 2,900 power play 1 with his shot, he's playable.
Yeah, you can't really play him without stacking him, and it's again very tough to play Seth Jarvis at 7,600 when he just doesn't have a ceiling. That's just objectively the case.
I don't know what his apartment looks like exactly, but I'll leave.
He got up to 25.8. Therefore, my stat of he has not been above 26 DraftKings points since December, or since November.
But his friends were at the game, so it changes everything.
That's true.
Everyone loves his friend group.
Well, his friends won't be there for this game, so no chance he clears 26 here. All right. You just bet Nikishin stuff. That's how you win.
Yeah.
I don't think you play it in DFS. Detroit at Florida. No Dylan Larkin, right? Is he week to week or is he day-to-day?
Not announced. He was technically on the roster yesterday until they said he was out, but then he was on the roster, and then they're like, yeah, he's out. And it feels like they're trying to play this no, he's not that hurt. But I did not see anything confirming his timeline. That he was not there in New Jersey. Is really all I saw.
Yesterday,
I would be absolutely shocked if he was in.
Larkin was quote feeling a little bit better today, but didn't have more of an update than that. So let's say he's out.
It's going to be day today, but I would be very surprised. It feels not the best. The power play was JVR, Raymond, Sider, Kane, and DeBrincat. Kopp got the top line, the nominal top line with Kane and DeBrincat. Casper, Raymond, Finney. They ended up playing the Bradgard, Nygaard, or Branson, Nygaard, Comfer, Appleton line quite a bit, 5-on-5 as well. The fourth line doesn't play much. They scored. Shinny got the goal in 6 minutes of ice time because, of course. Is it
Shinny. It's
Shinny?
5 letters.
Shine?
Yeah.
Really? Why did I think
Are
it
you
was
saying
Shinny?
the broadcast is saying Shinny? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Can chat please correct me that I'm wrong because I feel like you're probably right, but I don't know why I thought I was watching the game at one point. I was kind of flipping back and forth
probably
to see
heard
if Marco
Finney and
Casper
you were like,
existed.
"Oh my god, that's who it is."
You know, I might have heard Finney and thought they said Shinny. You're probably right. I mainly was watching the Sabres. I was kind of turning that game on my phone and the laptop, like keeping an eye on
Gee,
Marco Casper literally not
yeah.
existing.
8-7
Okay, yeah.
fights everywhere, or are we talking about the 3-0 Devils
Yeah, I wasn't
Detroit? Oh, you know
paying
what?
that close
Never
of
mind.
attention to it, like I'm
Yeah,
saying. So I probably just heard Finney and was like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's just Shine. That's fun though. It's a fun one. It's a new one for me. Everyone likes it when I mess up names. So there you go. There's a new one for you. There, he was playing Shinny, right? Isn't that like a?
Yes, that is a thing. Thank you for
Okay, cool. You're welcome.
admitting defeat here. Let's see. We have Justin Falcon, right? So did he get priced down for any
Brandseg
reason?
Nygaard. Brandseg Nygaard. There you go, Tom Wilson. I can say his name. I just needed to use my brain. What'd you say?
I was talking about Justin Falk. He is 4,300.
Yep. He
But
got power play too.
yeah, 19 minutes, whatever. Um, okay. We
Yeah.
have John Gibson, also questionable. Got hurt and left.
Yeah.
I mean, just day ends in Y at this point. Gibson hurt, but not too bad. We'll see. JVR power play 1. Otherwise, is there anything else here? I don't think there's anything else here. Like,
I'm not that. I mean, I really, at the end of the day, I just don't think this. I mean, Florida, we're going to get to. There's some, injury news and notes to update everyone on, but I just don't think that they're so incredibly bad that I want to be stacking a decently expensive stack here. But I mean, it just is DeBrincat, Kane, maybe Cop. I don't think Cop is even wrong. But I just would rather play Cider. Like that's just the angle that I'd go
yeah.
through. Raymond doesn't have a massive ceiling. He's never shown the rate stats that I thought he might have, and I think at some point he's going to kind of bow out. I get this, he gets a lot of points, but I mean, he's basically a worse version of Seth Jarvis, a little bit cheaper, like no ceiling. So,
Florida, they are calling it quits on the season. They told Brad Marchand, "Hey, you got your Olympics. Go get surgery." They're done. That is effectively what they are doing. We have Hinostroza seeming like he'll replace him in the lineup. Let's see. We have lines: Lustein and Lindell, Erod, Verhage, Bennett, Kachuk, Greer, Noshek, Samoskevich, Reinhardt. Where does he slot in? I don't know. There's no natural spot for him to slide in, so let's just assume Erod, Lindell, Reinhardt sticks, and then Lustein draws in down the lineup, and that's that. Yeah, I don't know. Is there any reason to pick Florida pieces here based on Detroit not having Dylan Larkin is the real question.
I mean, I still just think they're a really good defensive team. I think Falk adds a little, just another element. Like, I think they only got more defensive. Like, Larkin was pushing the pace, and the only guy that was really shooting an exorbitant amount. I'm sure DeBrincat will pick up some of the slack, but Cop, Comfer, and this defensive, Edvinson, Sider, Falk, Sherratt, like they want to play a boring game. They want to slow the pace. I just have no interest in playing a very decrepit Florida team that's given up on the season. I mean, it doesn't matter who's in net for Detroit. I just think they're going to be tough to take advantage of on this big of a slate, and it's cheap. Like, I like looking at Reinhardt at 6,500 and thinking there could be magic left in that bag, but I just don't think I'm doing it. I mean, there's so many games, there's so many teams. I'm not clicking on Florida now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even see anyone asking about Sam Reinhart, so not positive he's in or out. But if anything, I think Sam Bennett would be the guy you look at. He's 5,500. Just a good price. That's about
him.
all.
I mean, him and Kachuk. I mean, Kachuk is the only guy really doing stuff. I mean, and a little bit Reinhardt and a little bit, but I think Kachuk is doing the most, and Bennett and Reinhardt are there. But I think that's what you do. I mean, it's going to be unowned, but so are many stacks. And like, I think there's just, I mean, we're about to talk about a team that I would just rather play than Florida next.
Okay.
And that's saying something.
Gotta keep chugging along. Yeah. The Toronto lineup. God. Are we going to get suckered in once again?
I mean, I would just rather play them than Florida. That doesn't mean I'm going to play them, but like the top line has been legitimately good. The season's over, but I don't think that they've completely called it quits as far as trying to show some semblance of effort. They at some point could we see it? I'm guessing yes, but what were we going to say?
A quote from Craig Berube. Montreal is probably our biggest rival, and if you can't get fired up and come out with some attitude in that game, ... we got to get a little uncomfortable. We got to get our noses dirty, and there's not a better time to start than tomorrow. That is literally word for word what he has said for the past 3 months.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work the last 90 days, but the 91st day, they're like, shit, he's kind of onto something here. Cat, did he cook? Did Craig Berube cook finally? Yeah, I mean, it's tough sledding, but like you're getting 20 minutes of Matthews, Tavares.
Yeah, we're getting new lines, of course. Fucking Christ! Every team's doing everything to make our lives more difficult. Michelli, Tavares, Nylander.
Yeah,
all right. Does this do anything for you?
It does less.
Good.
It does do less. I mean, it would be nice, Matthews, but I'm probably not going to play it. I'm just saying, like, I would be more interested in this than Florida personally. Like, I respect Detroit and I respect Montreal. I just think that Montreal defensively is not actually that good. They could be taken advantage of down the lineup. If it was at home for Toronto, I think I'd be a little bit more interested, but it's probably unnecessary. Okay. I mean, we can mainly just move on unless if there's one note that you have.
Overly too expensive for me. No, thank you. I personally would rather play Sam Bennett.
Right. I'd rather play Macklin Celebrini.
Okay. Montreal, Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield. They won their last game. I don't think they made changes because they got murdered by the Kings.
I mean, 16-1 in shots on goal in the first period, and then Slafkovsky, Suzuki, and Caulfield just said, like, I guess we have to win this one now, and then they did. They giga smashed. Slafkovsky.
You'll never guess who LA hard matched them with.
Guessing Drew Doughty. Like,
yep.
How do you do it? Like look, if you look at the 5-on-5 matchups, you just see like Clark and Edmondson just nuking everybody that they play against, and then you just see Drew Doughty completely caved in. I mean, it's just not even in the same hemisphere. It's insane. I feel bad for Kings fans. Like, I don't know why I'm so invested in this Kings team. Like,
because they're so good.
Like, they're so good, and they just can't get over how like miscoached, mismanaged. The whole thing is just so annoying. But all of this being said, like, I think Montreal is kind of the trap of the night. Famous last words, as Toronto is the only team that can give up a touchdown because they just don't care. But it would just have to be like that. And I think people are going to convince themselves that, like, that's just going to happen again. That this Toronto team is going to give up, 5 goals every night. And this is the most correlated stack you could play. And it's been great. Like, there's no denying it's been really good. But, you are just playing into this is just going to keep happening. They're going to give up 5 goals every night. And I'm just not going to. Like, this and Winnipeg feel like the chalk.
Yeah, I mean, it's $20K for Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield. Kind of really depends on what the field wants to do with these high-end pieces, specifically the, McDavid's, McKinnon's. I think they're in the same matchup, right? Yeah, they play late. So Kucherov is in a good spot as well. So I don't know. I feel as if Montreal would be sort of the antithesis of those. So, like, kind of pick between, do you like the tightly correlated, somewhat expensive top line, or do you like the just smash one-off play kind of deal with, like, cheaper pieces to build around, or just one-off and, have a true alpha and move on? But I would not be playing one-off Montreal personally.
No.
outside of like a Noah Dobson or something. But that's defenseman and not really where people start their lineups. So nothing here.
Honestly, you know what? Now that you say that, I think it's 5-man or nothing for me. Like if you're gonna dip your toes in, go for the fucking bullshit nonsense 8-goal game where Slavkovsky and Suzuki and Caulfield and Hudson and Dobson all 3-point, like, the absolute smash donkey fest of the night. Like I would rather either put my whole self into the 5-man stack than nothing at all. Like I'm not dipping a toe in here. I'm not one-offing Slavkovsky. I'm not, that would be my take. Nobody 5-man stacks on a 13-game slate. This is the only spot I think. This and Winnipeg are the only spots worth doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of spots are quote unquote worth doing it, but I understand your point as far as like, expected lots of offense. Moving on to Calgary at the Rangers, both teams on a back-to-back here. So we did get a brand new Calgary lineup.
Yeah, completely different.
I don't know what you want to do. It's 7:45 and we're barely halfway through. Not even halfway through. So just going to read it out. Oh, Jesus, they're down 3-0. Okay. Olofsson, Backlund, Coronado, Coleman, Frost, Farabee, Zari, Strome, Greedon. It feels worse than the lineup they rolled out against Carolina, but in large part because I think Victor Olofsson is just terrible. I don't even know who's missing from what. No, Sharon Govich. Oh no, he's the 4th line center. I don't know. I guess they scratched Beecher and I don't know. They somehow added 2 people and didn't get rid of someone. So I don't know what I'm missing here. Oh, Zari's. Or no, sorry, what the fuck's going on? They added Olofsson and Greedon. Who did they take out? Am I losing my mind here?
I think I'm back. Am I back?
Okay, well, I was just self-immolating.
I listened I heard every word you said. I just my microphone decided it was time to take a break. A little bit early. What you want the Flames lineup tonight? Didn't you just read it?
I'm looking at it. Who is the second guy who came out? Oh, Greedon is already in my lineup. That's why.
No, he wasn't. He missed last game.
No, I know, but it wasn't updated. So I was trying to find 2 spots when Greedon was already here. All right. Thank you to everyone who played along. The watch moods have a fucking nervous breakdown on air. Guess what? I'm not playing Calgary in a back-to-back against the Rangers. Yep. Okay. The Rangers.
Are you playing the Rangers on a back-to-back against Calgary?
Absolutely the fuck not.
This is the worst game of the night. There's some cheap pieces. I mean, as Shams also points out, like top power play was Zari, Backlund, Strome, Sharangovich, Olofsson. I honestly I don't think that's the top power play. Like I really think to the point where there's Coleman, Frost, Coronado, Greedon, and Perrier is the top power play. They can't even get a functional top power play together where you can tell what it is. That's a really bad sign for what the team is doing. And I have no interest. And shout out to my Sabermetric boys for jumping in the chat. What's going on, boys? We're winning all the money tonight and gearing up to buy all the Sabres tickets for the playoffs.
All right. Lafreniere scores on the power play. Perreault, Zibanejad, Lafreniere.
Yeah, and then nothing there too. Yikes.
Cooley, Trocheck, Brodzinski.
Interesting that Perreault still
with the team.
I think since I started touting betting Gabriel Perreault, he's just stopped getting points, even though he's only on the ice for all the goals.
He has like one game where he got any points, so I wouldn't say he stopped getting points.
Yeah, he never really began. That's a good. Yeah. So I do think there's just a lot of like fake goodness here. I don't. No one's really shooting at an absorbent amount. This team sucks. The Flames are not playing completely dead until I guess tonight. The player I'm like looking at is Will Cooley, but it doesn't sound like he's on the top power play. So I think I'm just bowing out on this game entirely. But I do like Will Cooley.
Yeah, I don't know if he's top power play or not, but honestly, I don't care. I'm not touching it. 4,300, I can do better. I want to keep moving. Columbus at
Yeah,
Tampa.
good.
Columbus traveling to Tampa. I think that's why this game was at 4:00 because the Western Conference
It was
guys
the
are like,
it was the reschedule game.
right. So they rescheduled it and they said,
Yeah.
well, we have the flight to Tampa after the game, so let's do it in the afternoon instead of a 24-hour back to back. The Western Conference teams were like, "Hi, you suckers! We do that every day, flying from Utah to Chicago or whatever for a back to back." But in any case, this lineup here, Connor Garland popped off. That line is 10.2K. If you think that Tampa has lingering issues, then maybe you could use that and just say, Connor Garland, good historical rates player. Monahan and Johnson, we both know they can be productive on this team, but I'm not spending 16 or 17.5K for the top line, or playing like Werenski at 8,200. I don't think this is a great matchup for Columbus, and will happily be wrong if Tampa wants to get eviscerated once again.
Yeah, I mean the second line unfortunately can't go against Drew Doughty and get hard matched against him in Tampa because Tampa did not acquire his rights.
Well,
so it's going to be a little bit tougher.
Victor Hedman is,
but I know that was the argument you could make. We're a messed up folk. Yeah, it's not playable. I mean, it's cheap, but I would honestly I'd rather play Boston. I'd rather play maybe even some of the Penguins cheap guys. Like I have no interest in playing a back to back. Columbus at Tampa, just no interest. Like this top six is going to go against real players. Let's get real here.
Tampa, they moved up. I mean, we don't even know what the lines were last game. There were so many penalties, so many misconducts and fighting majors that we know that Nikita Kucherov will play with all these top six guys. We know that Bjorkstrand is not truly a top sixer. Like Pontus Holmberg was moved up to that line for warm-ups. I don't think it matters. You're playing Nikita Kucherov plus one or two of his friends. That's about what it boils down to. We're kind of on Darren Radish watch. Like his brother's missing games for the Rangers to attend their father's funeral. So just keep an eye out for that, because we could be in Victor Hedman power play one season, or we could be in much more fun Charles-Edouard Destoux power play one season.
Yeah.
Like it does feel like they realized that Hedman's kind of cooked, and it is what it is. So if Radish misses time, do be on the lookout for that sort of information. Otherwise, you're just building around Kucherov and clicking whatever expensive ass pieces you want. Kucherov is unbelievable. Puts up 3 points like it's nothing, and 9,600. Doesn't really matter. You build a good lineup with Kucherov in it, and we've talked about a dozen cheap spots already, and we're going to get to a dozen more. So, I think this is my favorite stack.
Of the night or so far.
Do you have a preferred way to? Well, I mean, we haven't. Trust me, I have not thought about the other games on this slate, and I'm figuring them out as you do what they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Kucherov, Gensel. Just because Gensel is shooting and seemingly very involved as far as getting points with Kucherov, but I could be convinced to go anyway. It's so hard for me to click on Hagel when he's not on that top power play and he's just more expensive than the pieces around him. But I think it's always Radish or Gensel for me.
All right.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for your suggestion. Let's go Kucherov, Point, Gensel.
Smart boy.
There we go.
Point and Gensel feel too cheap.
The Islanders head on into St. Louis for the Braden Shen immediate revenge spot. Heineman, Horvat, Barzal, Shen, Ritchie, Palat. That pretty much stuck in how they beat the Sharks last time out. Just pulling that up real quick to confirm that. And then Holmstrom, Pajot, Lee. So everything here pretty much leads me to Horvat, Barzal, Heineman.
Yep.
If you want to replace Heineman with Shen, that's fine. Again, we talked about this on Saturday, but I just want to believe the long-term rates of Emil Heineman and a $300 price savings and the 5-on-5 correlation outweighs Shen on the power play. Shen was set up, though, in the one-timer position, so if Horvat gets cooking in particular, Shen could be fed like the easiest goal of all time. Like, think of Dorofeyev in Vegas, like when Hurdle's cooking. Some of the goals Dorofeyev scores, it's like, well, they had to sell out to stop Hurdle, and like that could be Braden Shen here. So I don't feel overly ambitious about this matchup either way, because I've sort of been suckered in by the St. Louis Blues once again, like last year when they went on the God run. So I'm much more on the Blues side of this matchup. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't want to be suckered into the Blues. It's pretty simple for me. I think that this Flyers top line is really, really good, and Matthew Schaefer is just. I mean, it was a bit of a cool down comparatively to his shot rates going into the Sharks game, but he was still very involved. He got a point out of it at least, and had some attempts in there, but like 6. I just wonder if like maybe this Blues run does fizzle out pretty quickly as they're so far out of the mix. I think I'll very likely be going back to this line, and I'll definitely be going back to this for the betting card, like Horvat, Heineman, Barzal, like all the minutes, all the shot share. I don't really know who the Blues match up with other than Robert Thomas or attempt to. That's even going to hold it close. So I like it okay. It's not my favorite stack of the night or anything, but I do think people will read into the couple Blues games that they've looked competent and be like, are things different? And then very quickly be humbled when they're not.
So let's talk about the Blues then. This is obviously not their lineup. They went into Anaheim and completely dominated them in every facet of the game. Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud, Buchnevich, Suter, and Drouin, Neighbors, Dvorsky, Kyrou. I thought that was really interesting because they basically took apart a very functional line there with Buchnevich, Neighbors, and Kyrou, and put Dvorsky there, which feels like them sort of saying, yep, this is the next wave. So, Kyrou, Dvorsky immediately jumps off the page to me, especially if you are not a big fan of, Islanders not named Matthew Schaefer, because you would expect the top line to sort of go out against that Horvat Barzal unit that tends to be glued to Schaefer. So I feel as if Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud is interesting, and it is too cheap. But that said, we are still looking at Jordan Kyrou for 5,800 with 0 ownership alongside Dvorsky, who, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But he had an Olympics. Remember that? He did good at the Olympics.
He did do good at the Olympics. Now, one thing I've note out that you're fixing it now, darn it. I mean, we have the double revenge narrative, right? The Jonathan Drouin, Braden Shen revenge narratives. The trade that was the former captain returning home. I mean, who does this help more? Are the Blues going to be motivated to beat their former captain? Or is their former captain going to be more motivated to beat his former team? I mean, this is really the hard-hitting stuff you need to know. I definitely hear your points all around. They're noted. Jonathan Drouin was also on the top power play. It was Broberg, Thomas, Snuggerud, Holloway, and Drouin. So top line, fully correlated top power play with Broberg, who played 27 freaking minutes. I mean, him and Mayu have been really good. Mayu a bit more shooty, of course. Broberg is not a prolific rate shooter, but in this role, he could certainly hit a blocks bonus. He played 32 and a half against the Sharks, and then 27. Like these minutes are just.
Yeah, they only had five.
Yeah, they only had 5. But him and Mayu are really good punt options to go around whomever. I'm interested here. I don't know how I look at this lineup and not play Holloway, Snuggerud if I'm playing the Blues. Like those are just such the guys here. Thomas is kind of cheap enough to, I say, give it a try. Yeah. But
upon consideration, I'm just gonna say Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud is the only. I mean, they're 14K. Last 10 games, it's 35 expected DK points and 46 actual. Like Thomas has just come back and been a man on a mission. His season-long stats, you can pretty much throw him out the window the way he's been playing. He's been shooting a ton. And now with Broberg on the top power play, there's even more reason to think it's not resulting in dead shots. Drouin won't shoot. Broberg probably won't shoot. Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud, those are the finishers. They're all too cheap. I like the matchup. So I think I'm fairly in on St. Louis one, but, we'll see. We'll see what shakes out.
And same with the Sabres. There's no Priego to drag down that Blues team. So everything's good.
Yeah, I guess keep an eye out for him too, because he's been dealing with back spasms.
So, yep. I like that game a lot. I like both sides in some capacity. So, yep, I think both are in play for sure. And definitely good for betting all around.
All right, 5 games left.
Holloway is shooting a lot. Continuing onward.
Vegas heads into Dallas. Vegas last game going Barbashev, Eichel, Bowman, Dorofeyev, Marner, Howden. They put up a comeback and then lost to the Oilers. So we'll see. I don't think they'll change their lines, but they could. Brett Howden came back from injury, a long layoff from him, didn't do anything. So that's the most likely scenario, that if we see someone, it's Howden moving to the fourth line and Riley Smith returning to Dorofeyev and Marner swing. But Dorofeyev to me is the number one piece here. Dallas will have a top line to throw at Eichel. Dorofeyev playing with Marner, and especially if Howden sticks there, Dorofeyev is just such the trigger guy, and he's got obvious goal upside, but the 5-shot bonus, shot props on Dorofeyev and everything. I'm very much in on that combination if it sticks. Any other Vegas thoughts?
I think I just agree with you could just run off Dorofeyev on Vegas and feel good about it. No power play one defenseman, but are there any of these defensemen as they've gotten deeper and
there's
there's
Thomas Harley on the other team. I'm good.
Yeah. I'll say one more thing. You could play Eichel and Dorofeyev and just hope that it comes through the power play a little bit, but I think it's unnecessary. I think it's Dorofeyev as a one-off, and I'll be looking at him for shot props. We can move over to the Dallas side of the coin if you're ready.
Yes. Dallas without Rupe Hintz. I believe they moved Sam Steele back here, right? That's Rupe's hurt again, so they just did that, and everything else basically reverted to how they were before Hintz returned.
It was Ben, Duchesne, Steele.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you mean.
So So again, what that does is it really makes them more of a one-line team between Robertson, Johnson, Bork. 19K, they're going to get a lot of minutes. They've been very productive, especially Bork at 4,100. 10 expected fantasy points last 10 games, 11.7 actual. For 19K, they're generating just about 37 DK points per night. Pretty solid stuff there. Yep. Duchesne and Ben have been ridiculously chalky every Stars game. I think it's been mostly matchup driven. So on a 13-game set against Vegas, maybe they're not owned, but in any case, you shouldn't be playing them. They've been
I'm going to ask you,
but they're dust. So
I'm going to ask you one important question. Who is going to be more owned? Who would you rather play between not Sharon Govich? Oh my God, Igor Chinnikov and Maverick Bork? Because I feel like Bork's going to be the chalk and Chinnikov's the better play, but you think I'm wrong?
Yeah, I don't think either will be really that owned. But honestly, if I'm playing Bork, I'm finding a way to get J. Robin. I think 8,100 feels really good.
I just don't think Johnson with the way he's playing, he's too cheap too.
Look, we're going to get to Kyle Connor at 84.
Yeah, I know.
30% owned. So I think everyone else sort of comes in, falls into place nicely there. Also, I think Utah's on a back to back. So we also have
Boldy just about
Kaprizov.
Yeah.
So Vegas Dallas. Yeah. Vegas Dallas feels like a more forgotten game than those, but we'll see what the team totals amount to and what the industry churns out. But
yeah.
I think Harley here is still interesting. 4,700. He's been very much so a fantasy guy as of late. 10.2 expected fantasy points per game. I mentioned in my Friday newsletter, I think over the last 10 or 15 Thomas Harley games. You can go check moods.beehive.com for accuracy there, but he's been also their best on ice defenseman in terms of expected goals and actual goals and shot attempts. And that was not the case for the first 3 months of the season, where he was their worst player by far. So I think Harley's just back. The price tag doesn't really reflect his upside. So 4,700 feels quite fair if you just want a piece of this game, or if you want to, stack around Bork. Interestingly, I think Harley's always an option. Sure. Anything else?
Nope, I think that settles it. Yep. Utah's just taking to the ice now. It is Vanacek in net against Drew Comezzo, or whatever his name is. So it will be Vizbelka on the back-to-back here against Minnesota. Makes a lot of sense, but I really mainly say that to make sure you don't have either of them in your fantasy lineup tonight, Matt.
Don't care.
You didn't jam in Spencer Knight. Great. So Utah 1 is the only option. I don't really think that's going to come as much of a surprise. Could you squint and try to play Utah 2, or what are we talking about against Minnesota?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's just the right answer. I mean, it's like there's a handful of cheaper second line stacks with power play upside. I do think Peterka and Cooley are a bit better than like Middlestead, Zaka, and Arvidsson in general, but matchup considered, I think I'm, on a back-to-back against Minnesota, I'm probably good. Keep an eye on Sergachev. We haven't seen yet tonight, but they once again said he was questionable. And it looks like he's not in because they just called up. Yep, that means Sergachev is out. So he is not going to play, it sounds like, on Monday. We'll see if he hits the ice, but they just made a roster move to I'm not even going to attempt.
Whatever.
Sesbar came up.
Whatever.
Suber.
Okay, they're going to use Uyghur in the top 6 then, and DeSimone as their 6th defenseman. So whatever, you all can figure that out. Just makes them worse. I think Uyghur's interesting. 4,700. Yeah. It's basically the Thomas Harley bet, and Winnipeg or Minnesota's a team that, again, long term play defenseman against them, and you're doing quite well. Uyghur's not afraid to shoot, so. But that's contingent on Sergachev also being out Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I all of this is really to get to the Minnesota of it all, which I am interested in. Like, I wonder if others could follow suit a little bit because it feels like a decent bet. I know I respect the Utah team a decent bit, but on a back-to-back in Minnesota, I could really see myself circling around Kaprizov, Boldy, and Quinn Hughes. It's hard to play all 3 of them, but
Boldy is just an electric factory.
He just feels like you can't avoid playing him. And Kaprizov's on 8,300. I want to click so bad, but I might just not be able to find a way to get to it, and it's sickening.
Yeah. Also, Boldy gets Bobby Brink on his wing, 3,300 there. Just feels underpriced for a guy who's coming in from the Flyers, where he didn't have Eriksson and Boldy to play with.
Really?
And, that's, I think, a really solid price on a player who long-term has decent stats in Philly and, should only be able to level up in Minnesota with all their injuries. So long as...
Hit the box bonus first game out.
I mean, that's Colorado. I don't know if that's...
I know. No, I know. I'm not saying Utah's going to...
It's fun. He plays. We like players who play and that are good.
Yeah.
Brink is both of those things, and he's correlated with Boldy. Eriksson Ek is a bit too cheap at 5,300, so give me that 16.4K line over trying to mix in a Kaprizov Hughes power play type deal, where obviously it can all hit. I just don't think that's where the explosive upside comes from. I think Boldy's the guy you want here.
I agree. That's probably my plan as well. So I think that's one of my favorite stacks, but we move over to a couple more.
Anaheim heads into Winnipeg. Now, Anaheim was on a massive homestand where they were playing great hockey until they weren't. Just got absolutely flummoxed by St. Louis. The Montreal game was super up-tempo, so it's not like they're getting killed on a night-in, night-out basis, but with Michael Gramlin back in, where we're just kind of dealing with the usual variety of nonsense from this garbage team. Granlund's going to play way too much. It's going to hurt everything else. So for me, it's one-off Cutter or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Beckett Seneca's looked just every time I watch, it's just what a player he is as well. So I could see one-off Seneca because they're going to play a ton of Granlund, and Granlund doesn't shoot.
Yeah, but he's got the Granlund stink. Granlund doesn't make the plays around him better, though. So
you know how many minutes Beckett Seneca played in that 4-0 loss? 23.
Great.
He's going to play a lot. He's going to.
Okay.
I'm just saying that. Well, 22.41, but
yeah, if he plays with Leo Carlson, I'm in. But unfortunately, that will not be the case. So
okay,
we'll see though. Maybe it does. Maybe that happens. In which case,
what about John Carlson? Is John Carlson in?
I don't know. Good question.
I think he's supposed to be.
Okay.
Right? Am I losing my mind?
Does that matter to you as far as this game?
Carlson is expected to make his debut with the Ducks until the end of the team's road trip, which begins Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
I don't know. Doesn't sound like he's in. Never mind. Point taken. Let's talk about the Winnipeg Jets. Matt, you clicking on it? They did practice. No. They did practice today, and it was back with Velarde on the top line.
Oh, okay, that's good. Then that's better. I mean, I'm just very curious what the field thinks of, the freaking Anaheim of it all, because I mean they are a fun hockey team. There is absolutely no world though where I'm playing Winnipeg without playing Cutter. Like that's really kind of the long and short of it. I don't think Anaheim loses 5-0 again. Like that just feels very unlikely. The fact though that Saturday had Roseanne at plus money for 2 shots and he played like 11 minutes in this environment, I want to really bet on that again. Just say, maybe he bumps that up to 13 minutes because they're not almost losing to, who was it that they almost lost to? Chicago? Vancouver. Right. It was Vancouver.
I was going to say, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. I was second guessing myself. Because we were like, we should have played Lankinen. That's right. We were talking about that. Like we're such cowards. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
But for DFS, like it's very much top line or nothing plus Cole Perfetti.
Worse. Canucks fan. So yeah, I mean the only thing I will say about Vancouver, and it's one game, but that one game against Vancouver they played, Josh Morrissey had 10 shot attempts, 5 of them on goal at 5,600. Like I'm not leaving him off. I'm not doing it. He is that kind of guy. He's going to see 25 minutes. He's going to be, I mean, like even Logan Stanley, who we're about to see in Buffalo for all of us Sabres fans out there, like was shooting a ton. Like they get the defenseman the puck and they shoot it.
And here's the rainbow, by the way. Winnipeg looks unbelievable on it, largely because Anaheim, but also Winnipeg's been okay, and they've just gotten nothing to show for it offensively. One of the league's worst 5-on-5 goals for rates at 5-on, or I think I already said that, over the last 10 games. So, like, it's going to be a good spot. I just wonder how much of the field is overreacting to last game versus, like, can we take that as signal and say, well, actually, we should just be game stacking every Ducks game forever? Because I think I could buy in on that.
Well, if you're buying, I'm selling. Let's move on to our final 2 games of the night.
Yes, Edmonton.
We're almost on that.
Versus Colorado. Their lines were different. It was like Draisaitl, Podkolzin, something, but whatever.
Brozovic.
The power play 1 will remain the power play 1, and that's all that matters. So, are you playing Edmonton power play 1, or do you side with the Colorado 5-headed monster?
I mean, I don't think I'm playing either side, to be honest. But if I was, it would just be Colorado because I just don't think they're going to be ultra chalky, and Edmonton just does not scare me. At home for Colorado, they maybe have a chance to take advantage of some weaker depth. I could see myself playing like a 3-man, maybe even a 4-man Colorado stack, and we'll get to them. But I don't think I'm playing Edmonton, but I would just play like a one-off Draisaitl on the other side, and it's really difficult, but there are a couple pieces that actually might make it doable. You just can't play like, Nachos, McKinnon, and McCarr, but there's other pieces to make it work. So I could see a game stack working if possible, but
The Hyman price is falling. He's 6,400 now, so the McDavid Hyman
Yeah.
just is getting cheaper than before. So that's I think what I would do personally. Like, yeah, it's not cheap for Hyman, but it's also like not as expensive as it's been. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm more interested in the Colorado side personally if I need to spend up for a game.
Yeah,
Uh,
I I really wrestled with betting on Nertushkin yesterday on Sunday, and I ended up not doing it because I was like,
yeah,
I just don't really know if I trust this lineup. I was right to do so. It ended up going immediately to Kadri, McKinnon, and
yeah.
Nachos. So that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Kadri right up to the top power play, so it's fully correlated with Nelson and Makar at 5-on-5 and the top power play. So I think I just play the three forwards, and I would just see what I could do if I could bring it back with Draisaitl. Kadri is correctly on the wing in DraftKings, making it a little bit easier. I mean, that four-man is going to be every last morsel of your salary, but I don't know. I mean, you could there's some cheap options to try to make it work. You could attempt it or take out Draisaitl and try something else. But I think McKinnon, Kadri, and Achos is like one of the best stacks of the night, and it's got to be more expensive than Winnipeg, but Winnipeg feels like
It's
a four-man stack to me, and it's just as expensive at that point.
yeah, it's wildly difficult to not play. McKinnon, but Nachos has been so good that like I
I
feel
think you
like
could do it too. I know.
you could get a 35 pointer from Nachos and a 20 pointer from McKinnon and not need McKinnon at all at 10K. And like, say McDavid puts up 40 and like this game
Yeah.
is, 5-4. Like there's a world where McKinnon being outscored means that, McDavid, Nachos, Hyman is optimal. So like little stacks like that, and Kadri too, certainly fits the bill. Like I think you could get away with fading McKinnon for McDavid only in this. Like I'm not saying, oh well, Nachos one off from this game. I don't think that's smart. But like you're not playing McKinnon and McDavid without neutering the rest of your lineup. So I personally, as the McKinnon is a donkey guy, will probably side McDavid here, try to stack around McDavid, and then add a piece or two from Colorado if building here. So Kill McCart at 7,500 is pretty interesting. Like Quinn Hughes at 7,300, Werenski's like 8,200. McCart's clearly better than that, I think. So it's just tough. Like, are you really going to spend up here instead of grabbing, a Nate Joss or a McDavid or a McKinnon? Yeah. And I don't think the answer is yes.
I agree.
Okay.
I mean, it's the most interesting game to game stack for every reason possible, but like more so that game theory that you're going through right now is like the fun of playing DFS. And I definitely think I'm going to be trying to build a lineup that feels cogent around it. So it is one of my favorite games of the night. And I just don't know how exactly I'm going to end up with a lineup that has that build in it. And now we get to talk about Nashville and Seattle. This is a game.
Do we have
to close it up? These are teams. They're going to play. They're going to give it a go. They're trying to make a playoff spot. Seattle's in one right now, I think, technically.
That is true.
Yeah, so Nashville.
Also, the second worst game on the Rainbow Sheet, tied with Utah, Minnesota. And I feel like there's much more talent on the Utah, Minnesota side.
Yeah.
The only possible way I could see this working is with Matt Wood and Philip Forsberg. Did they stick together their last time out, though? Like, I know Wood got there, but I don't know if it was, like, reasonable or not, because it was like a 5-on-6 power play. Okay, so Marchessault, O'Reilly, Stamkos, Wood, Forsberg, Evangelista did seem to stick. In which case, that's the only thing I'm doing here. Matt Wood is clearly a dude. He got up to 16 minutes last game, massive home run, but his goal was on a 6-on-5. He was not on power play 1, so not going all the way in or anything like that.
No, they refuse to let the best players play the big roles, but like him and Kemmel
played 15, so Kimmel, yeah.
Those are the guys that like I'm interested in, and Wood is just clearly so much better that you find the how many hundred? I don't even. Where is Wood? Is he a center?
29. Yeah, he's a center. He's playing center.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you're just finding the 300 to get up to Wood because
all right.
I mean, the guy has it.
Like Jaden Schwartz is hurt. I don't know the rest of Seattle lineup. Do you care? Do you just do top stacks?
I think that's exactly right. What you have, I don't know about the power play, but I'm almost positive that's it. They just replace as long as McCann is in. It sounds like he's supposed to be McMahon, not McCann. They have both. Yeah, no, I'm not playing. I have no. I mean, I get it's top line or nothing for me, and it'll probably end up being nothing because this game sucks. Let's do top stacks, guarantee goals, and get out of here.
Yay!
I think
Bump has 3 shots, by the way.
Oh, did he really get a third?
Yeah.
Yay, he did. He just got a third. Suck it, nerds. I win, you lose.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Save some of my night.
Oh, you got it too. Nice. Hey, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Top stacks, guaranteed goals. I'm going to take St. Louis 1. I feel very strongly that Thomas Holloway Snuggerud is among the best mid-tier stacks, and if they get super popular, then so be it. But I feel like there's enough coverage, especially because you can play McDavid or McKinnon with this line, or Kucherov. There's like just ways to disguise it where you're not playing, a chalk 6-man lineup. Like you're playing, maybe 4 chalky pieces, but there'll still be room to maneuver around it. So give me Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud for my top stack of the night.
I do. I mean, I very much like that stack. So no red flags on my end. Yeah, I mean, do you think? Yeah, that could end up being chalky. I think is really the question here, but it probably won't be. I think I'm gonna go the risky route of Nachas Kadri and what's his name?
All right.
Yeah, McKinnon. Okay, yeah, cool.
He's playing McKinnon, people.
He's brave. I mean, I just at the end of the day, that's just going to be in my lineup, I think, and I'm going to let the people know now.
All right, let's now that like there's something in the water with Vegas, and I don't really know what exactly it is, but even with their defensemen healthy, they just haven't been getting it done. And if there's one thing you say about Dallas is even if they don't control territorially speaking, they score goals. And right now they are so top heavy with no Rube hints. So give me Robertson, Johnston, Bork. That line is 19K.
That's a really good lineup, and that's going to fit perfectly. I think that's a fun one. I dare say they let moods cook. I am going to go back to the start of the slate here, and I'm going to say what I probably end up playing. And that's just going to be Doan, Norris, and Oslin to go along with my other stack. I don't even know if I think it fits because it is really quite cheap. I don't even know how much we talked about Norris, Doan, and Oslin, but you get the 2 top power play guys on Buffalo, with Oslin. And I just don't know. Like, there's a lot of cheap stacks. I don't know how owned this one will be. So I think that's what I'm going to probably end up with. But that's sort of what I'm tinkering with right now is what, it looks like the third line in Buffalo. They're going to play a lot of McLeod, Quinn, Zucker, who look great, but the fourth line doesn't get much of a role. Like Benson and Krebs kind of split the top line, and like that one kind of gets forgotten about. So give me, I think Josh Norris is just a supreme talent. He didn't end up with more than a couple, maybe he had a point in that 8-goal game, but like he creates a ton of those plays. And yes, the homer in me is back, but we're talking about Buffalo at home against San Jose, and that line's just not going to see Celebrini. It's not probably going to see Wenberg either. So Wenberg's going to see Tage as much as possible. McLeod's going to be on Celebrini. This line's going to call against Misa. Like, I'm just not afraid of that matchup. So give me, Buffalo 2, 3, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Give me a guaranteed goal for one Mr. Matt Boldy. 7,800.
Last time, I believe, Norris scored and Gunther scored, and you had Perreault and Forsberg, and I don't think either of your guys scored, but I would normally take a small victory lap, only I will not because you normally get 2 and I get 0, so be a tough break. Yeah, I mean,
I am the best at this.
Boldy. Yeah, that's what the kids are saying. You take Boldy. I will take Give me DeBrincat.
The Brinket is what, 7,200. So you have 3,800
Yeah.
left. I have 3,200. I am going to grab Morgan Frost. You know, this Calgary Rangers game is terrible, but I legitimately think Morgan Frost is a good hockey player. And I hope that his top line role sort of just exists with no Kadri. We'll see now that, you know, Olafson's back in and Strome's there. Like, do they try and spread things out more? But they were really good against Carolina, instant chemistry, the like. And I think Morgan Frost on the top power play as well is like a guaranteed thing to happen. So just give me the talented player in a good matchup without sort of thinking about the game environment of it all, which obviously sucks.
I mean, I'm gonna steal from your stack and take Stuggerud. So that is just what's gonna happen there.
Okay. Of course, I took Matt Boldy, so is Brink getting a guaranteed
that would have
assist?
been.
You bet.
Yeah, I mean, it was either Stuggerud or Zaka. I think either of them would have been fine for me, but I'll go with Snuggerud, and we'll be all in on the St. Louis Blues. What could possibly go wrong?
All right. Like the Stoner says, I got to get out to my hot date apparently because I'm so dressed for the occasion. And DJ's got to get the hockey. So let's shut it down. Thank you all for hanging out with us on this earlier edition of the Moonscape podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Fake Moods. DJ's at DJ_Mitchell94. We'll be back in your ears or on your screens on Wednesday night for the Thursday NHL DFS slate, as always. Anything else you want to add?
Alex bump up to 4 shots on goal and go Sabres.
We love Alex Bump in this house. I'm going to go give him a hug after the game. So that'll do it. Thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a good Tuesday, everybody, and we will
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.